Well, hey, good day to you. This is Todd. I'm a regular dude walking in the Word. Hey, we're moving into Leviticus chapter 21 today. We're dealing with the next couple days here, standards for the priests. And today it's entitled "A Higher Standard for Ministers," and then tomorrow it's entitled "Representatives of the Holy." If you're in ministry today, you're held at a higher standard, okay? And if you don't like those standards, then get out of the ministry, okay? It's as simple as that. But we are called as ministers to definitely not live like the world. But some guys like try and play around like, oh, how close can I come to the world and still be a minister? No, it shouldn't be that way at all. We are called as ministers to have a higher standard. Not to be perfect, okay, but we're called to have a higher standard, and there should be no question in our lives that we are separate from the world, okay? So let's read here today. This is Leviticus chapter 21, verses 1 through 15. This is rules for the priests, and you're going to see here that a lot of these things can apply to today. So some of the things obviously don't apply to today because we're not priests here. But some of the things you can apply to your life today and go, yeah, I need to hold up that standard here. Verse 1 of chapter 21 says this: The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the priests, the sons of Aaron, and say to them, a priest must not make himself ceremonially unclean for any of the people who die, except for a close relative, such as the mother or father or his son or daughter, his brother or unmarried sister, who is a dependent on him, since she has no husband, for he may make himself unclean. He must not make himself unclean for people related to him by marriage, and so defile himself." Okay, so basically, if someone dies in your household, unless they're really, really close to you, you're to have someone else take care of the body, okay? And because when you touch the dead body, you are unclean. And God is saying here, don't do that. Oh, okay, so obviously that doesn't apply to us today because we're not priests, and we're not dealing with dead bodies usually. Okay, and that doesn't make us unclean because Jesus has cleansed us from that. All right, verse 5: Priests must not shave their heads, or shave off their edges of their beards, or cut their bodies. They must be holy to God, and must not profane the name of the God, because they present the food offerings to the Lord, the food of their God, and they must be holy. We've talked about this, the shaving of the heads and the beards and stuff like that. That goes back to the Egyptian practices and the Canaanite practices of the idol worship. And so God was saying with the priests, don't look anything like the people that are involved in the idol worship. You are set apart just by the way you look. Okay, so if that stuff is happening, we're not to look exactly like the world. Verse 7: They must not marry women defiled by prostitution or divorced from their husbands, because priests are holy to God. Regard them as holy, because they offer up food of God. Consider them holy, because I, the Lord, am holy. I make you holy. If a priest's daughter defiles herself by becoming a prostitute, she disgraces her father, and she must be burned into the fire. The high priest, the one among his brothers who has had anointing oil poured on his head, and whose garments, must not let his hair become unkempt or tear his clothes. Okay, he needs to have a neat appearance. He must not enter a place where there is a dead body. He must not make himself unclean even for his father or mother, nor leave the sanctuary of his God or desecrate it, because he has been dedicated by the anointing oil of his God. I am the Lord. The woman he marries must be a virgin. He must not marry a widow, a divorced woman, or a woman defiled by prostitution, but only a virgin from his own people, so that he will not defile his offspring among his people. Okay, I will end there. You see here that the standards for the priests were set different than the standards of the regular people. The regular people could marry any one of the other Israelites they wanted to. Priests were asked to marry only certain people. Okay, no prostitutes and so forth. So they we're held at a higher standard, okay, than the rest of the people, and then definitely than the world around them, than the Canaanites and the Egyptians. Today, as ministers, we're called to that higher standard also, okay? We're not to live like the world, and we're not to look exactly like the world in our actions, okay? So don't be trying to do that, to set yourself so that you live just like the world, okay? We're called to a higher standard. And if you don't like that higher standard, then don't be in the ministry, because a lot of people are following you. And when you lower your standards down like that, it leads people astray. So keep those higher standards if you're in the ministry. All right. Hey, thanks for watching. I'm just a regular dude walking in the Word, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow as we continue our journey through Leviticus. Lord's blessing. I'll see you then. Hey, good day to you. This is Todd. I am a regular dude walking